everybody. Before getting into my first week with Mounjaro, I want to do a video sharing with you guys my research before the injection. If you watched my other video, you can see that I took the medicine back home with me on a Thursday, but I did not start the injection until Monday evening. So the first reason why was because my doctor said that some people would be dizzy, and I think it's because it lowers the blood sugar, and for some people that are used to having it so high, even if it's lower and it's still not necessarily healthy level, it can still feel like, you know, your body kind of needs to adapt to a healthy level again, because your body has fought hard to adapt to a higher level. She didn't tell me this is just me making an assumption, but also based on something she did mention on my visit. So anyway, I wanted to really research side effects to prepare myself for what could be coming and how I could do a better job of managing them. And what I heard was that, like, dizziness, nausea, constipation, and the other side effects that some people talked about was a little bit of headache. I didn't find that many people that talked about being tired, but some did. And I think the biggest one that I've heard on different YouTube channels is constipation, which thankfully I have not had to deal with. But I'm also on metformin, and I think my metformin was causing the contrary side effects, so maybe they're balancing each other. So no matter what I heard about side effects, I was still encouraged to do this, because my doctor did say that it worked wonders for blood sugar. And of course, when I saw all the weight loss, like, that also got me excited about doing this as well. So I didn't really find a side effect that would be something that I couldn't deal with. And I was going to be home all Tuesday morning. So for me, it made sense to inject at 7 p.m. Actually, I was going to inject right before going to bed, because if anything, I would be sleeping. And if I got dizzy, being asleep wouldn't matter if I was dizzy. But I started getting impatient, so and I asked my husband to kind of help me go through the first injection, just to kind of, you know, make sure I understood how everything worked. And I was impatient, so I did it at 7 p.m. I did not have any dizziness, so that went well for me. I just made a decision that I'm just going to do Monday evening, right? I also researched where to inject. And in my research, I found Amy's channel, where she went over a study that Eli did about different places where you can inject, like if injecting on the arm, stomach, or thigh made any type of difference. And I'm gonna link her video in the comments down below, because I think that's a very important video for you guys if you're starting this journey and you kind of want to see. They spell very, very well, like they explain the study very well, so you'll be able to make a decision on where you want to inject yourself. But my take on it was that the thigh was the place with the least side effects, and that no matter where you would inject, the medicine worked well for everybody. And in my opinion, I feel that for some people it takes a little bit longer for the medicine to catch than others, but apparently that's not tied to where you're injecting it. The other thing that my doctor said was to drink a lot of water. And I didn't quite understand where she was going with this, but then on this last visit that I had with her, she did say that it was because these medicines work better when the body is well hydrated. So I was like, okay, good. And I'll talk about that more when I go in the video of summarizing how my doctor visited, and my visit with the diabetes educator, and my visit with the nurse went, okay? So the other thing that I gathered was that people that ate a lot of fat might feel nauseous. So maybe eating fats was not the best thing if I wanted to avoid that. And also, like from my own personal experience, this was not research, but this is sharing from my own personal experience. Having smaller meals at night instead of having the big dinner, which is what is customary in the US, having a smaller dinner, and if anything, a couple of hours after dinner, if I'm still awake and I'm starting to feel a tiny bit hungry, just having a small snack as well. The other thing that I kind of researched, which was not totally relevant for me, because my doctor also added me as part of a study, so I am getting the drugs. They're covering the drugs and they're covering the CGM, the continuous glucose monitor, but that it's a costly medicine, because I also wanted to know, okay, what happens after this study is done, right? If I want to continue on this medicine, or if I need to continue on it because I haven't been on it for long enough. So it is costly. I think that in my case, since I have diabetes, the levels that I started with, my insurance is going to cover it. I have no idea what my copay would be. I'm kind of almost at the point where I'm going to ask my doctor. She did give me a coupon, but the coupon expires December 2023, and I'm starting with her in July, so my medicine might be covered until January. I don't know. Sometimes they do have delay in receiving the shipments for the study, so I had to buy an extra CGM. But I did use the Abbott free trial for that, because they hadn't gotten the shipment for the study in. So I did have the second one that she had given me, but it's always good to have an extra, because if this guy falls, you need to replace it as soon as possible. Because one of the things that she's very intentional on doing is for me to be able to have the alarms of this guy go on if my glucose drops too much. Okay, so it's something that has to be dealt with immediately. I am diabetic. I have a continuous glucose monitor and a backup. Okay, so it is important for me to have this, because I don't want to go into hypoglycemia, which is dangerous. I can't speak for people that are not diabetic, or even for other people that are diabetic. Like, I can only speak for myself, but knowing what this drug does, I wouldn't want to use it without having a continuous glucose monitor. But this is just me, okay? You guys do whatever works for you. It is also good to have your own finger pricking device, because if you get a very high reading or a very low reading, it is also good to make sure to double check on your finger before taking any type of action. Because let's say, and it happened to me, let's say the glucose monitor, and this is something that I researched, and that's why I'm saying I did not find anybody with diabetes that was taking Mounjaro. So when I researched, I just went by logical stuff, but I would have loved, and like my diabetes education appointment was 2 weeks after, right? I went to I got this thing installed. So anyway, so what I would have loved is somebody to say, hey, listen, these gadgets may not give the most accurate readings the first day, because they're getting used to you and learning about your body. So I got on, when I placed the second one on, after my doctor's visit, and I know that I'm filming this video after I've been on Mounjaro for 10 days, but still I want to go over what I researched and add to this research whatever I've learned as well myself, especially in relation to things that are not out there, like diabetes. I had the alarm beep for low glucose reading, and I got scared, and I immediately went and had some orange juice. But then in my head I was like, but I should finger prick, right? And double check and make sure that this is something that's accurate, because this is a new sensor and it might be malfunctioning. And sure enough, my finger prick was not high at all. It was 110, so not low at all. It was 110. And this thing was saying that I was at 67 or something like that. So know that that's something that can happen. So it's always good to have one where you can prick your finger and double check. And of course, if it's low on both, take action. So what my diabetes educator also told me was to get some fast acting glucose tablets. And even though the monitor beeped and even though my finger was okay, I could always just take 1 or 2 tablets just to make sure that I'm covering the bases, because hypoglycemia is a real thing that's dangerous, okay? So anyway, but you guys go over any of this with your doctors and make sure that they're the ones who tell you what to do for you, because I'm sharing what was told for me, but what my levels are and how my sugar is may not have anything to do with yours. So but it's a good prompting opportunity for you to go over things with your doctor. Okay, the other thing that I researched a lot was about titration, going up in doses. Like I said, I've only had 2.5 injections, and apparently like the typical way of doing things is 4 2.5 and then starting on 5. So my doctor in the first visit, she told me a lot of things, right? So she didn't really go over dosing all that much on that first visit, but she did kind of tell me what the regular track is for these things. She did tell me something more in detail the second time I went, so I'll share that as well. But what I've heard is a lot of people saying, don't go up just because it's the next step. Go up if you really need to go up. With this, what I've heard them saying is, if you're not hungry and 2.5 is working well for you, don't go up. So now, in terms of my blood sugar, my doctor is very happy, and I'll tell you guys all about that when I do my my first visit of how it's gone. And what we talked about is staying on 2.5 for as long as I can, which is what people should be doing. Try to stay on the lower dose for as long as you can. And I even talked to my doctor, and she said that, yeah, that she would give me green card, that if I didn't feel hungry, to space it out a little bit more and not necessarily do it every week. Maybe next week I'll do it on a Tuesday, or maybe I'll go ahead and again and do it on a Monday, but the third injection I might do it on a Tuesday or a Wednesday. So who knows, right? So she just said, hey, watch everything, because I'm really journaling everything. So watch everything and make a decision based on that. The other thing that I would tell everybody to do is journal. Document everything, because this is a medicine that is meant to lower blood sugar, and it does cause an effect of not being hungry. So whether you're using this for weight loss or whether you're using this for diabetes, it's always good to write everything down. That can help you also decide if you want to kind of change the time where you're doing the injections, which, by the way, it's good to be consistent and do it at the same time of the day each time, and not be shifting from morning to afternoon to evening. So even if you're going to skip a day because you're feeling that you're still not hungry at all and you want to skip a day to let the medicine wear off a little bit more before starting the new one, the suggestion is always to do it in the evening again. Okay. The other thing my doctor said, that exercise was very important, especially after dinner. If that's where I felt that my glucose was going higher, just taking a little bit of a walk after dinner would do wonders in terms of helping me lower my glucose. Okay. And I'm a person that likes to drink a glass of wine when we go out, and I've done my research. You can do your own research about this as well. I found everywhere that says that Mounjaro doesn't interact with alcohol, but again, I'm talking about a glass of wine, right? 2 glasses of wine. I'm not talking about binging on alcohol, because the one thing that my doctor and the diabetes educator and the nutritionist, everybody said, and they kind of raised the red flag, is that alcohol lowers glycemia. And this medicine does that as well. So I could just go into a hypoglycemic, whatever it's called, and that is really not what we want, okay? So I already went over staying hydrated, of course. And the other thing that I didn't find anybody talking about this, but I would suggest people to do it if weight loss is the most important thing why you are watching these videos, is to not only weigh yourself, but to measure, take measurements. Sometimes I won't lose weight, but I will lose inches, just because fat doesn't weigh all that much. So sometimes it doesn't express itself in weight, but in inches, right? And I encourage you to take pictures of before and after. So of course you're starting on this, do it before, because it's always nice to have these pictures. And I feel that they're even good for those days, like when it's time to go off the medicine, for people that don't need to keep on taking them because they're not diabetic or something of that sort. So when you need to go off the medicine, looking at those pictures can help the incentive of continuing a healthy lifestyle. At least I know that for me, it will, for sure. And I can go crazy with weighing. If I weigh myself and I lost weight, I think I deserve a treat, and then I can eat badly that day. Or if I gain weight, I can get discouraged, and then I deserve a treat because I got discouraged. You can see how emotional eating works in the head of a person that has it, right? That has like some sort of disorder in terms of the relationship to food, like I do. So anyway, if you have that like I do, like weighing once a week is more than enough. Or just let your doctor weigh you when you go into the doctor's office, right? There's a lot of different things that work for a lot of people. Some people even don't even want to weigh. They just are happy by feeling their clothes, and they even tell their doctors not to tell them how much they're weighing. So, and again, like I said, weight is a very nice, weight loss is a very nice consequence of being on these meds and controlling my sugar and kind of putting diabetes into some sort of remission. But it is not the main reason why I'm doing this. My main reason is health, okay? And some weird things that have happened to me, and that I've been able to only learn about them because I am using this thing. When I take metformin, I feel that it raises my sugar within the next 15 minutes, but then it starts going down. And it's funny because it's kind of like a paradoxical effect, right? But apparently that happens to some people. However, it's a very brief period of time, and it's not like a huge spike. So, but you can definitely see the curve, how it goes up and then it goes back down. So I wanted to share that with you guys in case some of you see that. And if you have a CGM and you see that. But of course, make sure that you go over that with your own doctors, right? Whatever I say here, please make sure to verify and go over everything with your doctors, because they're the ones who are going to really tell you what's good for you and what you should be doing, right? And what you should really be paying attention to. And then the other thing, besides of course eating healthy, because this medicine is going to do nothing for me if I continue eating the way I was eating before being on this journey. Because once I have to go off the medicine, I'm going to go back to my old ways. And what's going to happen? I'm going to gain weight back again. So this is a lifestyle change. For me, it's important to focus on that. So eating enough protein is very important with this medicine. Otherwise, muscle loss is a real thing. So eating a good amount of protein is important, as is eating vegetables and lowering the carb intake, okay? I'll go more into detail about that when I go over my doctor's visit and what the nutritionist and the diabetes educator had to say. But I think this is about it. for now in terms of what I researched before starting on Mounjaro. So I hope what I covered here helps you if you're a person that's trying to make a decision, if this is something that you're gonna want to go with, and if, especially if you're diabetic, I do have to say that yes, and just keep on watching my videos just so that you can see how my sugar has improved in just 10 days of being on this medicine. Okay, so now I'm gonna say goodbye, and I'm gonna ask you guys to leave a comment if you have any questions, subscribe, hit the like button, and all that good stuff that tells YouTube that this is a channel worth showing to other people, and so that other people that also have diabetes and is on this medicine, or maybe even Ozempic, or what are the other names? I don't remember, but there's more than just one medicine, right? So that somebody that's any of these medicines that kind of wants to also hear the focus a little bit also on sugar, not only weight loss. So I'm hoping that this can be helpful for somebody else while keeping me accountable on this journey. Thank you guys so much. Have a wonderful rest of your day and take care. Thank you for watching. Bye.